Hey, welcome. I'm Jana. This is Purl Together, and today I want to talk about your longest surviving whip. Now, recently, well, not very recently, last fall, I guess it was. Maybe it wasn't last fall. Anyway, within the last year, I finished a sweater that had been on the needles for my mom. I'd had it in progress for like 4 years. It was ridiculous. And I would stop and start and I'd forget where I was. And then I would go back and remember and I'd work on it a little bit. And it was stupid. I mean, there was no reason that it took that long except for it was tedious and I would lose interest and then I'd go do something else, you know. However, despite what people might think, that is not my longest surviving whip. So I want to talk today about a new knit-along that's going to help you dig into that longest hibernating whip. And those are going to be prizes, and this is going to last until Labor Day. So I thought that was fitting from July 4th until September 5th. So we'll get to that in just a moment. First, I want to thank Jenny for joining our patron family a couple of days ago. Thanks for signing up to help support the Purl Together channel and the knit-alongs and the prizes and all the things we do. So patrons is what makes it happen. So there's some benefits I offer for a small monthly pledge. You can head over to patreon.com/Purl Together and see what all that is involved and what that entails and the monthly pledge amounts and what you receive for those different amounts. So head over and check it out. What the Freedom Knit-Along is going to involve is going and finding your darkest, longest hibernating whip. For me, that is a blanket that I started in July of 2008. So, and there hasn't been a lot of progress except for in the last couple of weeks. I drug it out, and it's one of those like sock yarn scrap blankets. So people have often seen like the cozy memory blankets. The one I've seen most recently is the jelly roll blanket, and those are cool. But I think this one was the first one. This one was called the sock yarn Blankie, and it's by Shelly Kang. She used to just have an account on Blogger called The Heathen Housewife, and I don't think that's still up and running. However, you can find the page through the Internet Wayback Machine. I'll put a link down below in the video description. Probably in a couple weeks, I will also show you how I go about knitting the squares. So if you're interested in starting your own, since this blog isn't really active anymore, I can show you how I'm doing it. Anyway, so you use a lot of scraps. So each one of these squares is approximately 5 grams. So it's not very much. It's 3 to 5 grams. And then obviously these bigger ones are more like 20 grams, 18 to 20 grams. So I had this great idea that I was going to like have my mom donate her scraps and I would save all the ones I had. And there used to be a group on Ravelry where you could like take your scraps from projects and like send them off to people and do it in a little Ziploc bag. And they were at least 5 grams each. And you could do a little sock yarn swap and see what you'd get. So that was interesting. I don't know if I'm going to have enough to finish or not because I don't know what I was thinking, but now I'm committed. So I decided I was going to make this king size. So this is going to be knitted from the bottom up. It's already the width of the king size bed because I measured that. And so far, you can see it's not very tall, but I have 126 squares so far, including these big ones, which are the equivalent of 4 of the smaller ones. And I don't know why I decided to do that. I just thought I'd chuck in a row of big ones on occasion. I might continue doing that. I might not. Anyway, so you can see what the deal is. And this is, and then at the end, I'm just either going to leave it. I mean, obviously I'm going to weave in the ends. And I've already done a bunch of them. But I might leave it, or I'll probably most likely will get some black fingering and do an I-cord edging all the way around it. So I could also, I guess, maybe knit some half, but I kind of don't, half triangles, but half diamonds, but I don't mind the, jaggedy. So what is your longest whip? Here's how the knit-along is going to work. You drag out your longest surviving whip, assuming you want to finish it. If you don't want to finish it, frog it, get done with it. If you do decide you want to finish it, or at least work on it, what I want you to do to qualify for prizes is take a before picture, like when you drag it out today or tomorrow, take your before picture, the status at which this whip is right now. And then come Labor Day, we'll see how much progress you've made. It doesn't have to be finished. It just needs to have some, measurable progress to qualify for prizes. So I'll put together a prize package that will probably include some fingering weight yarn because it's my favorite and it's what I have a lot of. And also I've had some patrons that have donated some fingering weight yarn from their stashes that we can use for prizes. So that's fantastic. And you know who you are. Thank you very much for doing that. So we'll put together a prize package for a drawing that will occur right after Labor Day. But I want to see, I'll start a Ravelry thread and I'll put the link down below in the video description. So I want to see in Ravelry, I want to see your before picture at some point and your after picture and a link to your project page, obviously, assuming you want to finish it. That you are freeing your WIP from the depths of despair in a corner or a project bag or a closet or under the bed or in a bin or a tub or wherever it happens to be. You're going to liberate it from the dark depths of inattention and work on it. And we might even have, I think we should have Monday night WIP social where we're going to sit around together for, I usually offer tickets to these events for patrons first. And patrons always get a discount on events. And so we will knit together with excellent company and we'll hang out on Zoom for a couple hours and knit our WIPs together. And that will be some like accountability. So you'll at least have some dedicated time on Mondays to work on your WIP. So it's no longer in hibernation. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. So watch for details about that. I think I told you all the details. Let me check my list. I will have, I want you to use the hashtag when you post on Instagram. I would love for you to, I might have some little prizes along the way, like stickers, gauge markers, little fun things like that. But I need to see hashtags on Facebook or hashtags on Instagram would be great. Freedom, KAL, and hashtag Purl Together. That would be fantastic. So then I'm noticed, then I'll see your post and you can be on my radar for how things are going with your WIP. Okay, so prize drawing will be the big prize package drawing for your WIP progress will be September the 5th. So watch for that. You'll need to enter the giveaway by Labor Day, midnight Mountain Time. Whatever, I'll set up a widget. You'll see how it's going to work. But drag it out. Show me what you've got. Tag me on Instagram and or put a post in the Ravelry, the Purl Together Ravelry group. I want to see what you got. I'm interested. If you're not on either of those platforms, on Instagram or Ravelry, put a comment down below. I know you can't upload photos, but you can tell me about it. That'd be cool. Okay, so if you want, shameless plug. If you want to help me finish my ridiculous thing, this is going to take years. I'll probably be like 80 by the time I get this done. But I don't think I'm going to have enough little scraps. So if you have little balls of yarn that you want to get rid of, they need to be 5 grams at least. You can mail them to me at the address down below in the video description. I'd be happy to take them off your hands. And then you clean out your drawer. They do need to be wool, however, not acrylic. I don't have any acrylic in my Blankie, and I prefer to work with wool. So wool fingering weight. And there will be a video tutorial coming up on how to start yours. But I will also put a link to, like I said, to the original blog post that talked about doing this. So if you're interested in joining me for that, I'd love to have you show me what WIPs you're dragging out of the deep, dark depths and freeing from hibernation. Happy Independence Day. I hope you're doing well and have enjoyed your weekend.